All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Franklin County Fiscal Courts Committee meeting for Lakeview Park. And we have Squire Muller and Squire Tracy on as committee members. We also have Robin Antonucci here from Tourism, Robert Hewitt, and Tamara Harrod, and Charlie Lewis. And Charlie, the first thing on the agenda is to discuss your budget and what your requests might be for as part of your budget.
Thank you, Judge. And Park Committee, thanks for taking time out to be with us today, as well as our other guests. I've left it very, pretty simplified, basically. And I'll be happy. I'll go through every line item and answer any questions. But, obviously with, I wasn't sure with a project master plan that we've been talking about over the past several months, a couple of years now. Not knowing that direction, obviously, it's hard to ask for the moon. So I just wanted to try to keep it as simple as possible. And like I say, I'll be happy to go through all these. Did everybody get a copy? Did the committee get the email? Did y'all get those?
Squire Tracy and Squire Muller, do you have copies? Okay, they have copies. Okay.
Okay, great. So I'll just start at the top, if that's okay, and we'll just start with the park side of it. We've always had it divided up into park and golf. We keep those separate.
Hey, Charlie, do you just want to maybe go through the line items that are changing? I mean, would that be okay?
Sure.
Just to move it along?
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Of course, salaries, we got an email from our treasurer saying to use 2% as the requested increase for the upcoming fiscal year. On that document I sent you guys, the full-time employees out to the side there, I put a number 5. That's a typo. That should be 4. And the fifth one is down in the golf. So it's 4. We have 5 full-time total.
Four for the park and 1 for the.
1 for the golf, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Just caught that today, but so 2% there. Seasonal co-op, I wanted to add a co-op throughout the school year from Franklin County High School. So I added 5,000 to that line item, which was originally 25, took that to 30.
How often does a co-op person work, student work?
Well, they try to work Monday through Friday after lunch for like 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon. And of course,
all school year?
All school year, and they'll have obviously assemblies and different school functions come up, and so they're not there every day, every single week, but that's their intent to make a little bit of money. They kind of do a half a day of school and half a day co-op.
Haven't we had them before?
We have.
Okay, that's not we had.
We have.
What was the last one we had?
Oh, might have been Sam Feldman, maybe right before the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Charlie, how will that be advertised where school kids will become aware of it?
Well, the school has reached out to me. And then they go through their coordinator. That's kind of how they've done it in the past. They've reached out and said, hey, do you have a co-op spot? And I'll just get back with them.
They do the advertising, in other words, probably.
They do.
Because
And
the students have to qualify.
Yeah.
they
So
do.
they'll-
What do you say?
I don't know what you said.
So the school will be the one that selects it, Charlie?
Yes,
Yes.
All
correct.
right, thank you.
Okay, moving on. I put a 3,000 increase in fuel. That's just because of the unknown of fuel costs. Now, one positive thing about that in the fuel is, of course, in petroleum products, the fuel that we spend at the park includes all the golf equipment. And in the past, we've had gas golf carts, and now we have electric. So we're getting ready to go through a whole fiscal year of having electric golf carts, which are already there. So that will kind of help not have that increase so much.
It may increase on the electric side though. So-
Well, a little bit, not as much as the electric is much cheaper to offset the fuel cost.
Okay.
So I did a small increase there, and that's just from 15 to 18. Just because of the unknown of what we have ahead of us. Everything else zeros down to maintenance. We're at 38,000 now. I moved that to 45. There again, inflation and cost of goods and supplies to maintain the park. And, we're gonna squeeze by this year. So I bumped that up $7,000 to 45. So our adjusted forecast for the park, just staying with the park right now. We're at 346 and my request is 357. That's 346,000 and change. My request is 357,000 and change. Basically, let's see, that's a $15,000 increase plus the 2%. Plus the 2% for salaries. Any questions for the park so far? Okay. Moving on to the golf. 2% for the one-time full-time employee. We have the golf. For salaries, seasonal co-op. I added 5 to that from 45 to 50,000 because we just need the additional help because the business has increased. The cart lease, we're entering into the new cart lease. We actually already have. It increased 1,500 for the year, and that's the new electrics.
Have they already come in?
Yes, they're there. Maintenance, there's a $5,000 increase, same as the above for maintenance, cost of goods and supplies. Taking that from 40 to 45,000. Let's see, concessions and merchandise. Took that from 7,000 to 10,000. That's a $3,000 increase. And that's just because we have to buy everything we sell and all that stuff's going up for concessions and merchandise.
Which means your prices will go up then for what you're selling?
Yeah, we've been able to make some small adjustments already.
Okay.
Which in turn, all this, as business goes up, so does our golf sales tax and visa fees. That's all linked and tied together. So there's a $3,000 increase on that as well.
Are we paying the visa fees out of our cost, or is that being added to the customer?
We add it, it's added to the customer, yeah, but we still have to turn it in to the state.
Right.
Golf course equipment, I put, this one is a little unique. We went from 15,000 to 20,000. That's a $5,000 increase, but it's actually more than that because at $20,000 that I'm requesting, my request, there again, a request is for a new piece of equipment, but that it is a lease. The reason I wanted to do a lease is because, and this is a 60-month lease, so a 5-year lease, basically $1,261 a month with a $1 buyout. So we get the piece of equipment after 5 years, and it's to replace our rough mower that I mentioned in our last park meeting that we're having to spend a lot of money on. that mower new is $70,000. So I thought maybe we could spread that out over 5 years,
How much a year on a lease?
20.
It's $20,000 on a lease per year.
Yeah. it's
Does that
12.
include any type of maintenance on it?
There,
An extended warranty? or
yes,
whatever?
there's, I don't have that in front of me, Judge, but yes, there is a warranty. Definitely a warranty for the lease. Maintenance side, I'm not sure.
It doesn't hurt it doesn't hurt the lease if we do the maintenance on it ourselves, does it? It can be. Well, first of
And
all,
can we? Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. I don't have that in front of me, but this was a piece of equipment that our green superintendent requested. Like I said, I mentioned it last time. We bought this mower, the one we have is about 10 years old. We bought it for around $45,000, roughly a decade ago.
Hey, Charlie, can I ask a question?
Yes,
So just some rough math, you're saying it's a 5-year lease at 20,000 a year. That's 100,000. So are we paying 30,000 in finance fees?
no, maybe that's a typo.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And it might be for a mower.
Well, if we're doing that, then I just want to buy it outright. There's no way I want to pay somebody $30,000 in fees.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't either. Yeah, the proposal they gave me was 60-month lease at $12.61 per month.
60. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 5 years, right? At
60 months at 75,660.
75,000. And you said it is a $70,000.
No, yeah,
So it's 5,660. $5,660.
For financing is
$5,000.
$600.
That's better.
So then that line item needs to change then, right? So it'd be 1261 times, are we doing it by the month? That's 15,132 a year, not 20, right?
Yeah, just going with that piece of equipment. Yes. Yeah.
So you're budgeting,
I rounded up to 19,000.
I probably put 20 in there just because there's other pieces, little pieces of equipment we buy here and there.
can you make your, what was it, $6,000 a year lease, Cameron? Isn't that what you said? How much was it a month, Charlie? 1,200? It's 1,200.
1261. Yeah.
1261. And what was your question?
Okay, so 1,261.
It's $15,132 a year. Sorry,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
had it 1561. Okay.
15,132.
Mhm.
All right, and you're adding 5,000 more, Charlie, to your equipment budget?
That's probably just for general small equipment.
You're gonna keep it at 20,000.
That's my request.
Okay,
It was 15. My request is 20.
Okay.
okay. Now, the question is, all your other mowers and repair and maintenance and all of that I guess maintenance is a different story up here. You got that.
Mhm.
So all your other mowers, you're good on that then?
For golf,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Hey, Charlie, can I go back and ask a question on park maintenance and golf course maintenance? You're at $90,000. What does that include?
Park maintenance and golf.
Park maintenance is just anything from office supplies, all the way out the door to, mowing supplies, equipment, tremendous amount of cleaning supplies for all the facilities with the Carter House, the Hancock, the Robinson. Very similar with golf maintenance. One of the bigger ticket items for golf maintenance are the chemicals, which continue to go up because a lot of those are petroleum-based products. They, we spend $15,000-$20,000 in chemicals.
Is there a difference between a park mower and a golf course mower? Do you use them together or throughout the park, or are they only exclusive to?
They're pretty exclusive, actually. Some of the golf mowers are specific because they're real mowers.
Yeah,
They
I
spin
know,
this
yeah,
way,
yeah,
whereas, we use rotary mowers.
right,
Out in the park.
right.
We don't need this. The real mowers allow you to get down there close, like a putting green or a tee box. Whereas the rotary mowers can be more park.
But in the fairways, you probably don't use the.
No, on the fairways, we use the mower that, and out on just the general rough areas, that's the mower I'm interested in leasing.
Okay, that's the one that uses both, you go both park and.
It could be
golf course.
used in the park, yeah. It's set so low. We don't cut the park unless it's like a soccer field.
Mhm.
Outside of that, we're mowing at 4 inches or better in the park. We don't have to cut it that low. Whereas on the golf side now, we try to, we want everybody to find their golf ball, so we hope. So we mow all that fairly low.
Okay. Any other questions up there on the Squires? Okay. Keep going, Charlie.
Park improvements down there, I left that alone because that's our grant. And it doesn't look like we're gonna use it this year. I'm hoping we can use it next year or hopefully utilize it. One thing I'm interested in doing with that this year is in that park improvement line item at 30,000, we had the trail grant, and then we had hopefully money to set aside, excuse me, for the pickleball fencing. That's gone. I haven't put that in because that's more than doubled in price.
Really?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, $5,000-$6,000 fencing deal went to $10,000-$12,000. So I need to try to get some more prices. Maybe that'll come back down, but if we're not gonna use that 30,000 this year, if we need 12,000 for fencing, is that a possibility?
The question is, do we need it? Are you talking about chain link fence, probably, aren't you? Do we need chain link fence?
I'm open for suggestions of whatever will keep the ball in play, whatever will work.
Robert, what is that plastic type fencing that has the holes in it that you use to stretch out around construction and stuff?
Yeah, it's like safety fencing.
Yeah, safety fence.
Mhm.
Wouldn't that work? And that a lot cheaper? I mean, couldn't that work?
Could be, I mean, a lot of that stuff's mobile. So you got kids turning it into skate ramps and things like that. The chain link was just more
More permanent. That's
Permanent,
permanent. Yeah,
yeah.
and it's nicer.
sturdy,
Yeah, it's nicer for
Yeah.
sure.
and that's typically.
Are
what
you
they-
thinking of just on one side of the side that goes down towards the skate park?
That and everything else behind on two sides, it slopes up, so the ball's not gonna take off on you.
Mhm.
But the skate park side would definitely be one, and then actually the side where the gazebo is, the little shade structure. The ball can run away there a little bit too, so kind of two sides. And I need to get an updated quote because I don't know where it is in the last 4 to 6 months. You know, maybe it's stabilized. I don't know. Maybe they caught up and they've got some in surplus, but it basically turned into one of those pandemic things where they quit making it or something. And wasn't in the supply wasn't there. They jacked the prices up.
Okay,
Hey, Charlie, I would just ask, I think we remember talking about this last year. If you could maybe just Google search and see if there's a happy median, other than, a chain link, maybe something similar to construction fence that's not orange, that's black, it's maybe a little bit more, permanent. I think there's got to be something out there, you would think.
Okay. I'll do that. Absolutely.
at least until we can get a better handle on the price of it, we do want it to be aesthetically pleasing. Don't want to make it look too cheap.
Yeah, we don't want it to be a construction zone because right now it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it really does. It does look nice, yeah.
I'll see what we can come up with.
Yeah.
Okay.
And didn't we look at the volleyball court too? Needing something behind the volleyball court?
We have talked about that in the past. Maybe a similar fencing would work there as well.
To see how it works.
Just that the side where the slope is.
Robert, do they make them in different I know they make them in orange. I do think Michael's right. I think they had make them in black too.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I think I see it in black as well.
Okay. I'll research that.
Okay,
And then after that, we've got estimated revenues for next year, we hope. And we've got a current at 166 and I'm forecasting 199 for this year. And next year, I'm estimating 217.
Hey, Charlie, can we go back real quick? Did we skip over that in tourism line item? I don't remember seeing that one.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Tourism, it says interlocal special events.
Yeah, that one is up the 2,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, I've never, that's just where that one falls on Susan's list. I've never been a part of setting that part of the fund.
So that was in your budget last year?
Well, that's what was budgeted, but I didn't request that.
so are we paying something to are we paying some organizations for what about the runs that we do out there? Are we putting money in towards those things?
No, like I say, Susan would know what that
Susan's
is.
not here.
She not, interlocal special events, 2,500. I'm not, that
Susan asked you to put that in there.
no, it's,
Do you know something?
No,
Charlie, that's probably the 2,500 that we sponsored Bourbon on the Banks with last year. But we've already committed to 5 this year, I believe. If I had to guess, because that's 2,500. Looking at my notes, we sponsored 2,500, I believe, for Bourbon on the Banks. So if I had to guess, it's probably where that line item's at from last year.
yeah, like I say, I've never had any request or control over expenditures there. Like I say, when Susan prints these numbers, that's how they fall in the printout. So the park improvement, instead of it being last, that tourism line comes up and then park improvement. That's just always been there.
Just take it out. And then if that's okay with you guys, we'll just take it out. And then if Susan wants it added back in, obviously, when you come back and present, she'll tell you to she'll add it back in on her own.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't put any request amount in at all. Because like I said, I didn't even know what that was. So it sounds like it's Bourbon on the Banks.
Yeah, probably is. since they came, because I think they came and asked in the latter part while we were ending the budget last time. This time they came at the beginning of the budget. So it could be a different way to.
I think it was the 201 program, thanks.
It was for Burger on the Banks?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Charlie, going back down to your park revenues, you have current, forecast, and estimated. What's kind of the difference between the forecast and the estimated?
The forecast is this year. That's the number we're hoping to get to this year.
All right.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're expecting everything to go up in 23. There was some
Well,
fee changes and.
with that, and we hope golf stays hot. I
Mhm.
mean, like you say, of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of those 6 lines of revenues, 5 of them are golf related.
Did you, like, I know not this weekend, but last weekend it was in the 70s. Did you get a lot of play at
Mhm.
the golf course?
Yeah.
Are you hearing anything about the fees adjustment or anything?
I'm not.
You're not.
No, I'm not.
I didn't ask if you were listening. I said, did you hear anything?
No, they're so minor. We haven't heard anything, but the February revenues were just over $11,000 for February.
Is that good or bad?
That's great.
That's
What
great.
was your expenditures, Charlie?
I'd have to look that up, Squire Tracy. I don't know. They'll be minimal this time of year for February, just because we're not out there cutting the grass.
Right.
Hey, Charlie, real quick, going back to employees, I know in the last fiscal court meeting, we had looked at, I think, renewing maybe 5 or 6 new / people coming back. Do you plan on bringing, I guess, the rest of everybody? How does that work? Do you bring that back or where are we?
We will. Yes, that's a great question. We will have, we've been taking applications. We'll have some new hires. I think our returners, we're getting all back that we are getting. There's some that did not come back. We'll be a little shorthanded there for a little while, especially at the golf shop inside. But we are getting ready to do some interviews, and we did receive a few applications. So there will be another request at another fiscal court meeting. Yes.
How many are you looking at?
Well, we've got some summer helpers, youngsters, like some of them may not even have a driver's license, but
Can we hire below 16?
for
We
certain
approved-
areas.
We approved hiring at least 15-year-olds last year. I remember that was just to get people in, Charlie. I think you had touched on, you wanted a pool, like a bowl of people in
Right.
because of schedules and hours worked and so forth. But I've noticed here recently that it says you're advertising for 14-year-olds. I do remember approving that we voted on and agreed to 15, but the 14-year-old was kind of surprising to me.
Well, that's good. That's good concern there. I mean, you kind of have to open up the pool a little wider when you don't get very many. I don't even know that I think 2 of the applicants that we have are 14. I remember off the top of my head, everybody else is 15 or 16. But
Do you have to be a certain age to handle money?
yes. Yeah, we've done 18 in the past, but we like for them to be 21 or higher, preferably retired.
I'm not against per se 14. I guess I was more interested in how we got to 14. Again, I know we talked about 15 last year. I was just trying to figure out how we got to 14.
That simply could have just been how Betty Jo typed it up on
I got you.
the ad. Yeah. That's all.
And did we get enough hired? I know we had to do a couple different hirings last summer, didn't we? We were short.
Mhm. Yeah, we've had some people with some injuries or medical procedures. We're still dealing with that now. We've had heart surgeries, back surgeries, arms, I mean, it's amazing. People we've depended on to return and have done a great job for several years that are either not coming back or we're waiting on them to get medical clearance to come back.
Mhm.
So it's a bumpy start right now, but
Hmm.
hopefully we'll get some more on the agenda. I think we'll be okay mowing in the park, but at that golf shop with knowing how to meet and greet the public and handle credit cards and cash and checks and things like that, you gotta kind of be on your game, especially when it gets real crowded. People come in one after another after another.
And it kind of goes back to my point at 14.
Yeah, we definitely wouldn't put 14 in that spot. Yeah.
What would you put, where would a 14-year-old go?
They could paint or clean or pick, wash range balls,
Golf cart.
wash golf carts, equipment, just maintenance, general maintenance type stuff. As far as running equipment like mowers or tractors or handling money, they gotta be older to do that.
Sure, okay. Okay, be careful. Probably ought to have a policy written and
Okay.
on hand.
Yeah.
Just say, if you're under this age, you can't do X, Y, Z, something like that, okay?
Yeah, and some of that's already covered with labor
Labor
laws.
laws, yeah, but still, out there, they need to know that too, because I guarantee a 14-year-old, given the opportunity, is gonna jump in a golf cart, go ride around or do something like that.
Yeah,
That when your back's
and-
turned or whatever.
you're exactly right. And you got different backgrounds. I raised a couple at 14 that could run a tractor.
I know.
And there's people at 14 that don't know how to.
Can ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
I understand.
Can you check Joe on that, Charlie, to make sure that's not a typing error?
The 14-year-old.
Say that, I'm sorry.
Can you check with Betty Joe on that to make sure that's not a typo?
Yes.
Thank you.
I personally, I think there's a big difference between a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old. I'd feel more comfortable having that number at 15 myself, just being around, I don't know, that's just me. 14's getting pretty young to have to supervise.
Okay.
If
If we got 14-year-olds that turned in, I don't know what to tell you. They don't have to be hired.
I'm looking back at some past postings and it looks like February 3rd, 2021, it was advertised that the minimum age was 14 as well.
Last February.
Yes.
Okay.
So that would have been into this area. So 14. Did we hire any 14-year-olds?
No.
I didn't.
And you may have done that for COVID for cleaning cars. I'm not quite sure.
I bet that's what it was. When we got in COVID and we had to sanitize golf carts,
Mhm.
we had a couple of those girls from Western Hills that worked. Yeah, I bet that's where that number came into play.
We have 2 square mowers.
Well, my computer went dead and I can't find my cord, so yeah, it's one of me. Thank goodness.
Okay,
Any other questions on this?
I've got a statement, Charlie. I guess we need to talk about with Squires up there, where do we go? What do we do about any park improvements? Anything like that? I know that you've been requesting for years sprinklers, a new irrigation system.
Mhm.
And I want to hear what do we just stay as neutral as we can on the park until we see what happens with the new facility or what? So I'll leave that kind of up to let the squires talk about that.
Sure, yeah.
Charlie, you've got a mower, you're requesting a mower for the golf. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Obviously sprinklers, something you've touched on multiple times. Again, I honestly, I would think that knowing that the park plan has passed and knowing that there was a funding strategy per se that they referenced, what I'd like to see is the sheet or the park sports and events tourism commission consulting service proposal put on the next court agenda. I think that would lead us in the right direction as far as coming off of approving the master plan. So as far as sprinklers, Charlie, do you have a cost on that? Do you have an estimate? Obviously, you've mentioned things that went up.
I do not have an estimate for today, but I can get one pretty quick. Yeah, it's a six-figure to redo the system. It's a six-figure deal, and it might be $200,000 or $300,000.
Right. It's hard to throw a number in the
one
bucket.
time. Doesn't have to be done at one time though, does it? Are you?
It's just going to cost us more if we don't.
True.
Yeah. I'll get that.
Okay, Squire Tracy, you recommended that we put Sports Authority, we'd have to put it out for bid though. You just
The
want to put it out for
consulting,
bid?
what they sent into us in regards to services offered that they referenced inside that was in with approving the master plan. So the follow-up that they sent that out to us with.
When they first sent 25,000, that's over the bid package, I think, didn't it?
I don't know how that works, Judge. That would be something that let's get it on the agenda and talk to the county attorney and let's go. There's no use. People are worried about funding, so let's see how we can get there.
Do we want to do that before the National Park Service
Yeah, I was gonna
approves
say this
the
National
plan?
Park Service is not, we're stuck in the mud.
We're trying to figure out how we're going to pay for it. From everything that we heard the other night, that as long as it deals with recreation, there shouldn't be any problems. That was a thing that Ann said. So I can't imagine an indoor multi-use sports convention center not dealing with recreation. So again, I think the big bear that everybody's throwing around is pay for it. So I mean, this group has came back with us and sent us a proposal that said, hey, we can get you ideas. Let's go. So that's where I'm at. Let's go.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you want to bid it out? Why would you want to go with them just exclusively when we don't know what we're asking for? Why wouldn't we want to bid it? Don't you?
Well, if you look at the master plan that was approved, it states in there what they recommended. So
why would we pay them $25,000 more if they've
well,
already?
we originally voted to do the creative funding mechanism. That was originally voted, so it's not like it hasn't been approved before. It was jerked out after the vote had already taken place. So again, I just asked that it be put on the agenda and let's let the court talk about it and vote it up or vote it down, as you say.
I guess if I was gonna say something, I would like to see that on the agenda also. I know, we had talked about during this whole process, doing redoing the irrigation and everything on the golf course as part of the bid package, hopefully if we get to that point. But I mean, now's the concern is, does it make sense financially? Can we pay for it? How does it pay for itself? Does it not? I mean, I think that's the ultimate question. I think everybody is happy about where we are right now, but now the question is it feasible or not feasible? And I think we need to get that answered, and it sounded to me like when Ann and the Hitchcock group talked about the Park Service thing, it sounded like that was a pretty standard procedure. And so I think, that will take care of itself for 3 months, but I think we need to keep moving on and let's see what we can do. So I guess as far as, Charlie, if you want to go ahead and get irrigation pricing, I mean, I think we're going to have to do it anyway, sooner or later, so I'd say go ahead and get, some pricing on that. And then let's talk about this as a full body and see where it goes.
Okay, I'll put it on there to bid. You all can talk about if you don't think you need to bid, but I think Rick tore us up last time because we wanted to appoint somebody and he said you can't do that. So I believe the best process is to put it on there to bid for the service.
Tamara, have you already sent out that information? I think you sent that out, didn't you? After the last meeting?
I believe I did. There were several things I sent out. I think that was part of it.
Okay, thank you.
So if it's an agreement though, I have to get, everything has to go through legal before it gets on the agenda for
That's fine.
approval.
Was he not copied on it when you sent it out?
I believe he should have. He's in my email group. And I did not ask him in that email to approve it or even to
Right.
review it. I just said, here are the requested documents.
Okay,
So
thank you.
I don't think, he's not in today in courts tomorrow. I don't think he will have time to review. this, but- I mean, the agenda goes out tomorrow, I'm sorry. He has court tomorrow, criminal court, because on Tuesdays, and then the agenda is finalized in the morning.
Well, you can talk with me about it. Just tell me.
Okay.
Okay.
So what would it say? Authorization to bid or?
Or likely for a sports authority. How would you say that? You deal with those authorities, don't you? Have you?
We have when, on bidding for different events and things. What I'm hearing is you're asking, the consultant said they could do some additional work to
Correct.
a funding strategy. And I guess that's at 25,000, is that correct?
21.5 is what I've got.
Okay, so I mean, are you asking, is it authorization to approve that 21.5? Is that?
Well, that's what they're asking for. We're saying we need to bid it out.
Yeah, I don't know those details
Yeah.
on your funding.
But have you worked with this? What should we expect? This is all new to us. So what should we expect coming from this?
I would think that the next step would be a deeper dive into how, what the pricing, what the funding would be and what the numbers are in a more detailed look so that you could expect to have this much generated in tax revenue from X, Y, and Z or whatever. And or the city has to put in, the county has to put in some upfront money or whatever. That would be what I would think. They gave a high level, I think, but from what I understood from the man at the library the other night was, there was more detail that they could provide. And I think that's what this 21.5 is probably doing.
So that tells me that we're just approving a contract that we don't even know what we're gonna get. More detail. So wouldn't it be better for us to bid this out to see what, and look and see what people are gonna offer. or
Judge, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you got a copy of the sheet or not, but it goes in detail what they actually would do, provide, so forth. It goes in detail. So again, if you don't care, I would like to just see this Lakeview Park Sports and to approve Lakeview Park Sports and Events Tourism Commission Consulting Services on the agenda.
I mean, I can put it on there, but
That's fine.
typically we can't put things on there unless they're approved, by legal.
It need to be a
That's fine.
contract.
Again, we,
Right, and it's
Right.
not, a contract. Like it was,
It would need to be,
it would need to be a
it
contract.
would need to be an amendment to the original contract.
correct. So,
I don't see how I can put that on there without that
Without the
information.
contract, right?
Right,
Because Rick would have to review that.
right.
right.
So
So
the-
we've
the
got
two
what, 2
options-
weeks before we meet?
Wednesday,
We meet,
next
next
Wednesday,
The 30th. So,
no,
the
we meet-
18th.
We meet this
Oh,
Thursday,
I'm
we meet this
30th.
Friday.
Yes,
We meet
sorry.
this Friday,
I know I
and then
got
we
Wednesday.
meet, 2 weeks after that, or we can have
Okay, so-
after that.
let's shoot for the 30th then.
Okay.
Yeah, that's easier to do.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah,
a court? Is that a,
That's a Wednesday. That's the one I was getting confused with.
Thursday.
Yes,
Okay.
that will be a special meeting.
okay.
okay. Yeah.
Hey, Charlie, can I go back to to your budget real quick, please?
Yes,
I had wrote down that you're going from 346 to 357. That's a 15,000 increase plus the 2% for your employees, correct?
yes.
When I add all these requested increases up though, it's 39,200. Am I doing something wrong here?
Are you adding the park to the golf?
Yes.
Lakeview
That
Park,
15 15 was just partial then, right?
15 was just for the park side. The rest of that would be the golf request increase. So let's see.
$568.
The golf increase is 19,162.
Golf increases to what?
19,162.
Over, yeah, okay, so it was 222, and now it's 241,
Correct.
okay? And, so last year it was, and the park was 346 and 357, so there's 11,
15.
yeah.
So it's 15 and 19.
15 and 19. So
That's the request.
34, right? Right,
Mhm.
difference? Right?
Right.
Okay, now, did you add that, is that 2,500 in that total? It's not in that total, is it? Is it separate?
The tourism part?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
interlocal special events?
Yeah, I didn't touch that.
Okay, okay.
Charlie, I'm getting 24,200 on the park and changes. If I add all those up,
How much did you get?
24,200. That plus the 15 up top equals 39,200. I'm just wanting to make sure we're all on the same page.
Oh, yes, plus the salaries, the 2%.
That doesn't
Yeah.
include that. That's plus 2.
Right.
The salaries aren't in there, right?
Correct.
Right.
Not
Okay.
included.
Okay, I've got on your totals, 34,000. Now I don't, so I didn't add up underneath your lines, Charlie. 200,000, 230,000, 248,000, 250, 252, 3. It's about 357. You got it, Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, I've got,
That's it. Well, Susan will have all this, so I don't think it's a really.
Okay. That's fine. I
Susan will have the-
I'm just wanting to make
It'll
sure
go
we're
back
all on the
to her.
same.
We're not approving his budget, we're just
Okay.
accepting his budget to send on to Susan.
Yeah.
I
these are
understand.
just- Yeah, these are just requests.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so. I guess we kind of got off into other business there a little bit. Do we, do we?
So are you gonna contact? I just wanna be sure what, the request is for the March 30th agenda. It's not to put it out for bid, Squire Tracy. You're requesting that we accept their offer without bidding. Is that correct? I can't hear you.
you're on
You're on
mute.
mute.
I think Robert said it a little better than I did. I guess it would be amend the contract to accept the consulting services in regards to the Lakeview Park Sports and Events Tourism Commission consulting services document and the work that they have identified that on that.
I think we ought to add or bid for the services. I think it should. I'm uncomfortable with just giving them, we paid them $2,500 to give us this, the tourism impact, and I'm still not sure what we got for $2,500 out of that, extra for that. I'm a bit concerned also that there was an email that went out that they said they would do it for 2,500 for 25,000, and an hour later, they came back with a bid underneath our, proposal under 500 under our bid process. So I'm assuming somebody called them and said that our bidding starts at 22. And I'm kind of worried that somebody's made a call. Because within an hour, they changed from 25,000 to 21,500. And emails are showing that, so I don't know how that happened, but for transparency's sake, I'm gonna say that in the meeting, it doesn't matter. 4 votes count, whichever way you wanna go. We'll have it on the agenda.
Thank you.
So will Charlie need to get with Hitchcock to request a
Yeah,
contract amendment?
Charlie will get with, and provide their services, Charlie.
Yeah.
It's not just a contract, the contract will have to include their services.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, scope of services, probably schedule.
schedule, yeah.
Mhm. Be nice to know the personnel too.
Personnel.
Be nice to know.
Robert, do you have a copy of
Finished
that?
product.
I'm sorry,
Did you receive a copy of it,
of what?
of what they sent out?
If it came out this morning, I haven't seen it. I don't know if I got copied or not, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Have you seen a copy of it, Charlie?
I thought it came out.
Came out last week.
No,
Yeah.
it came,
I have, let's see,
Haven't got
I'm
any
looking at it now. Looks like,
Who sent it?
Randy.
Randy did,
Randy.
he sent it to, Squire Mower. But he CC'd you, Charlie, and Scotty and, Ms. Creasy.
So in your all's conversation, did you ask him to lower it from 25,000 to 21,500?
whose conversation? Mine? No, I didn't.
He said it emailed to you all,
No, it was sent to Squire Mower.
Squire Muller.
I did not talk to him about that, Judge, no.
What was this? I just want to confirm. For the Sports Authority, wasn't that addressed in their initial proposal?
This is for consulting services here, Robert.
Yes, did I know their original proposal had multiple things they could do,
It had 25,000 in it.
and this was one of them?
Yes.
The,
but they came back
no,
last
original,
week with another proposal to do it.
Robert, the original proposal was for legal services.
But wasn't there discussion about doing an analysis on a sports authority? I thought there was. What I'm trying to get at is if in their earlier proposal, they discussed that as an optional service to the court, then that makes the contract amendment go much smoother. If it just has come up out of the blue, then that might raise a question.
I believe that's the part of the contract that Rick made them remove because he said they could not include that in there. He said that part, if I remember correctly, had to be bid out. Those professional services. Remember, the vote went through and
It's for legal services. And Rick said that he would not do anything. He would not review the contract. The vote went to approve it. So it's not for legal services.
so it was a different part of, okay.
And so wasn't it like legal services, sports authority?
It was
or
sports authority,
and something else, wasn't it? So all I'm getting at is if it was already in the original proposal and presented to the court or to the committee as an optional service, then contract amendment is the way to go. But if not,
What we're telling you is that the way it was originally proposed, Rick would not accept.
okay.
That's the key.
Was it all inclusive at that time? I didn't review that
He
contract.
he did not like the legal services.
Sure, okay.
So
What was the legal services for? For the
Sports
sports
authority.
authority?
Oh, was it?
So we're just saying it different.
yeah, we're saying it's different,
Okay,
but that's what, that's
that's why I'm
why.
getting confused.
Oh, okay.
So if someone wants to, Charlie, if you want to reach out to them,
Mhm.
send
Okay.
it to me and we'll see what we can get with it.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. And in the meantime, you need to send that to Rick. We'll have to talk with him.
Well, he'll have to get the
The
agreement.
that's right, that's right.
Okay.
Have,
And we're doing this on the 30th,
Yes.
so we're not
There's no way we can, the
You
can't do it
agenda will
by
be
Friday.
finalized in the morning.
just
There's
making
no
sure
way.
I didn't need to
Yeah.
rush. Okay.
have they completed their contract already and received final payment?
It's been, been accepted by the court, so I.
Yeah.
I think we, just
think
did we
the-
just process that final payment?
that
Should be
last-
in this court bills.
The last payment.
So if that's finished, does that mean that, yeah, because the contract's
mean,
done.
It could be that, that contract's complete.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the description on that was the final payment.
That was the last one, 40,000.
So, I mean, that might be a wrinkle. I mean, that's a Rick question, but it was just something that popped into my mind because it.
Charlie, have we received all the documents? The final, I know that the documents were a draft. Have we received the final documents that we're supposed to get?
We need to check the deliverables from that agreement, that contract.
Yes, I think we.
We need to
did.
check every one of them off.
With that, I don't know. We need to do that.
So
Yes.
Tamara, I'm gonna ask that you hold up paying them until we get confirmation from Charlie. Robert, if you'd help him,
Sure.
that we received what we're supposed to have received from Hitchcock.
No,
It was electronic.
electronic is all. And see, we need to see if we required X number of hard copies.
I think we
Yeah,
did.
all the-
I thought we,
It seems like we.
I hope so.
Whatever's in the contract.
Yeah, I know we asked for hard copies.
mhm.
We did for the bids, I just wasn't sure about.
Usually.
It's very typical to request a hard copy for the record.
That would be good because that's a big document.
Mhm. So we'll need to go back through that
Y'all check
contract.
on that. That's an ASAP.
Yes.
And get that to Tamara as soon as you can because it's, the final payment's gonna be on this month's or tomorrow or Friday's.
So if we haven't received this, all of our receivables, then we hold that one. for the
We'll hold
next-
that, yeah, until.
We could get payment approval and just hold it.
Okay, good.
And that's assuming all the other work has been completed.
Yeah.
Now, if, since it's having to go through all this legal review, and before Charlie contacts Hitchcock, let's assume, they've done everything they're supposed to do, okay? I think the question ought to go to Rick. Hey, they fulfilled their, the terms of the contract. Is it, can the court enter into an amendment number one? Or is this gonna be a brand new contract?
Well, we'll have you in there you can ask us, we'll get Rick on the phone whenever we can.
Okay.
So that's the first step.
I would think so.
That's a different thing than have they fulfilled their contract. We're talking about-
Well, it changes if it's a contract amendment or a new contract.
And if he's gonna require, we place this out to bid, we probably don't want to get a copy of the contract first.
Of an amendment?
Mhm,
Correct. Yeah, that's why I would pitch the question to Rick first.
mhm. Before
And
you
he doesn't
ask.
like to deal with assumptions, but, say, hey, since the plan's been completed, we're waiting on just a couple of final deliverables, say that. And then be like, hey, is it too late to amend that contract for additional services? Does that sound,
Eh,
I mean,
Yeah, there's.
because it
there's-
changes how you do things then, based on what he says.
They've asked for it to be on the agenda, and so it's a process to get it on the agenda, basically. So
Uh-huh.
we'll get it, that we gotta go through legal to make sure all of that's in place. As long as they understand that's.
Does that make sense, everyone? We're gonna ask Rick?
Okay. All right, anything else, Charlie?
I do not have anything else. Any other business?
Just one thing, y'all remember the fiscal court approved the easement document for Frankfurt Sewer Department on the new pump station. They're wrapping up design. I do not have an estimated construction start date yet, but I can reach out to Frankfurt Sewer and see where they are with it. And I thought of that as you all were discussing the irrigation system. So,
Hey, Robert, I know you don't have an official timeline. Have they given you kind of scope of work as far as how long, once they get started, it's going to take? Is it, a couple of months?
it'll be several months. Yes, I believe I do have an estimated project schedule. I can go back and look. If I do, I am happy to forward that out to you all.
If you don't mind, just once you get a start date, and then if you could send that with it, and then obviously I can forward it to the HOAs and stuff like that.
Sure.
Because they've been very involved in this whole process. So thank you.
Yes, I hope that the Silver Lake Association is pleased that the court decided to, have the pump station placed on the park property as opposed to the subdivision property.
Oh,
I was-
absolutely there. But now their next question is when, so as soon as you hear something from Kenny, please just maybe send us an email.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Are they going to start construction on the Lakeview Park side first or the Silver Lake side and run the white line down?
I would assume they'd start on the Lakeview Park side because the current
Yeah.
pump station will have to remain in operation.
They'll have to set it all up and then they'll make a connection to
Yeah.
switch it over.
Yeah, they will
So
begin with.
you are several months away then.
They have not awarded the construction contract to my knowledge, just the engineering contract. But I would assume the first, right after mobilization, they'll start on the bore pits. So that'll impact the number 5 green. So,
Yeah, and they've amended that a little bit. They've been able to move that to help us out a little bit. So it won't be
Okay.
as invasive as that original document that we saw.
okay. So I'll get an update from the sewer department and forward that out.
Anything else, Charlie?
No, sir.
Anything else from the court, or committee? All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
Adjourn. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Appreciate everybody watching.